Hello, everyone. I'm Michał Pastuszak speaking, and I'm a senior product manager at Synerise, responsible primarily for developing AI-powered products for the Synerise platform. And these products are as following, today's topic, Synerise recommendation, but also Synerise personalized search, Synerise prediction module, which could be used to predict almost any kind of a single action that can be observed on the customer journey. Time optimizing allows you to optimize time to contact for the customers, or variant optimizer, which can be used for optimizing the content that is presented on the websites. But today's topic and this is actually written on the slide, so Sunrise recommendations. And today's session, as a part of the broader open hours session, will be conducted, also taking into consideration that you as an audience, uh, that this is the session actually for the beginners. So I will try to briefly introduce you into the world of Sunrise recommendations, to give you more sense, more clarity, uh, why use Sunrise recommendations, where they can be applied, how they can be applied, and what are the most possible and most viable use cases for the scenario recommendations. But also, I will try to be as practical, as hands-on as possible, in order to give you also the sense of how to set up in practice your very first recommendation campaign in the Sunrise platform. So, without further ado, I will just tell you a little bit about the agenda. So, the agenda for today is that we'll start with brief introductory uh, slides into the Sunrise recommendation. Then I will tell you more about the features, about also the recommendation types that are available in the Sunrise platform. And then we will move swiftly into the Sunrise platform, where we will together try to set up your own first recommendation campaign. On the way, I will tell you a little bit more on regarding the recommendation requirements, and also the best use cases in which you can apply the recommendation. So this is the plan for today. We don't have too much time, so let's start. Let's start. So uh, first of all, I would like to stay on the slide a bit, just to because of course you all know what is the Sunrise, but it's worth mentioning that all of our AI products that you can spot in the Sunrise platform are powered by state-of-the-art algorithms that have been developed internally in Sunrise for the last couple of years. And we've been awarded several times some prestigious awards in some prestigious contests. So the technology and the quality of the algorithm is really state of the art. That is proven by the fact of being also competing with the best of the best on the market. Uh, and we are doing it constantly, constantly. So we have also then our own R&D department that is now primarily focused on developing base model. But you've got to also take into account. You probably heard about the base model, but you've got to also take into account that. Uh, the base model and the products that you can spot in the Synars platform. Um, share the common, let's say, backbones. So the most important part are quite the same. So this is about the introductory, but let's move forward to and to answer actually the very first question that you um, uh, may struggle with. I would say, why bother at least with the at all with the recommendations? So first of all, because of the fact that it gives your users the personalized experience, and this is one of the most important, I think, factors nowadays um, uh, to try to gain the customer attention, to also um, uh, try to uh, increase the overall customer experience that is um, that can be let's say in case of your platform, to enhance this experience, to also in order to prevent the churn of the customers because of the fact of delivering your customers more personalized experience. This is actually what people expect from you, from us also, to in this fast-paced world. But last but not least, and I think this is the most important factor because it increases the revenue, right? So sometimes I describe our recommendation engine as the revenue generator, let's say. So this is the feature, this is the product that allows you to deal with the problem of assigning the right products to your customers out from one hand automatically, from second hand intelligently, in the intelligent way, and and last but not least, because it's simply it is worth back, right? So this is these are these five factors, and answering this question. And of course, throughout the last year, we've been involved in several tests against other solutions, against internally developed solutions by our customers. On daily basis, we are conducting. We've been uh, we are being tested, I will say, so we gathered this information, of course, did this proof, and it gives you evidence, and like even based on this particular campaign, it was um, that the results were achieved last year. So we achieved actually tremendous incremental revenue, and we achieved also, which is I think I would say even more, let's say, thoughtful, almost 50% higher conversion rate, because of course the incremental revenue depends on the scale of the business. It depends on also on the currency, by the way. But the conversion rate, it is actually what gives you the sense of the quality of the solution. But uh, and of course, if we would like to um, um, calculate real ROI on Sunrise campaigns, because of also the fact that the cost of investments are relatively low if we calculate them as the fraction of the cost you pay to you pay to us for our solution, for the data points generated by these recommendation campaigns, also can be these returns also can be very astonishing, I would say. Um, okay, this was about the results, but now let's talk a little bit more about the features and about the recommendation types themselves. So first, I think the most important distinguish between within, I would say, recommendations is a distinction between AI-driven recommendation and heuristic-based recommendations. And I would say that, of course, mm, uh, AI it's actually what brought you to us actually. But of course, there are some also real use cases, real scenarios, for some, I would say, sometimes edge cases in which it is worth considering also to apply the heuristic. But let's stay for a while with the recommendation AI recommendation types, right? So we have several of them. The most important from my perspective are those related to personalizing the interests, personalized recommendations, section page recommendations, and attributes. Uh, they share actually the same backbones. All of them consider, let's say, previous customer interactions between your organization, the products of your organization, and all of the things, all of the interaction that can be observed on the on your web page throughout the customer journey. So I would say that these three are the most important ones. Later on, I will a little bit more elaborate about the differences between these three as well. But there are others that also are powered by AI, but they have and also can take the interaction, the behavioral context of the customer into account. However, um, in most of the cases, that can be in most of the cases they can be also trained only on the product's data. So like similar recommendations, right? So recommending similar products to the context of the product, to the underlying product. So let's imagine that you are on the product page, you have the context of this product, specific product, and you would like to see to recommend a similar product. Also, in this case, you can add a bit of the personalization to and say to recommendation engine that it should take into account also this personalization flavor into account. But at the end of the day, it's about recommending similar product. Cross-sell account recommendations, I would say they are kind of the siblings in this context. Recommending products that are most commonly bought together or recommending products for your checkout, for your cart, after you for the customer basket. Also, another type recommendation type is visual similarity. This is there is slight difference between similar items and visual similarity, because similar items, I would say that the similarities are all mostly based on the semantics. However, in case of the visual similarities, of course, they are based on the visual similarities of the images of the products. So this actually is a type of the recommendation that can be easily applied to every single scenario that this uh, where the user want to find the product having the same visual similarities, and at the same time, to some extent, it would be difficult to to resemble these similarities, to reflect these similarities in product attributes. So in this case, I would use these visual similarities. Item comparison specifically used when you like to compare the product with the vast amount of the attributes on the sometimes in some electronics it would be fine idea to consider. And then last but not least, personalized I mentioned, so top of the top of our recommendation types and their twins section page and then attributes. Attributes you would like to use whenever you would like to personalize the part of the page, like the banner, let's say, in context of specific product, value of the specific brand of the product, product brand, or the categories, let's say. So let's imagine that we would like to assign to all the, let's say, the banners on the slider, on the web, on the main page from these to which the customer have the highest propensity to the list one. So in this case, and the section page allows you to personalize the entire page because it can be treated like embedding types of embedded type of the recommendations, where firstly you decide about one dimension, which could be the brand, for instance, and the category, or the category, let's say, but let's stick with the brand. So like a brand A, brand B, brand C, and within which within the sections you will get also the personalize all the very best products for the customers assigned for with the list of the products assigned to this brand. So like for the brand A, 10 products from this brand, and from the brand B, 10 products from the brand B. And this allows you to essentially personalize the entire page. So these are the recommendation AI-powered recommendation types. However, as I mentioned before, there are some also non-AI heuristic-based recommendations, and from one hand, I would say that sometimes people perceive that these recommendation types are, I would say, there are some, I would say, subordinated to this AI-driven, but in some specific cases, like for the bookstores, for instance, or the VODs, the top items might be really good idea to at least include this type of the recommendation on some placement on the main page. Maybe not the very best one, very top one, but maybe some middle one, and to mix maybe these recommendation frames also to with the personalized ones and others, or last seen whenever you would like to also remind customer about previously visited items. So these recommendation terms that can be used sometimes can be also very useful. And of course, our platform is an omnichannel platform, like so the recommendations can be easily deployed in different contexts, in different channels, no matter whether this whenever we speak about the web, mobile, email, text messages, or third-party applications. At the same time, recommendations can be integrated uh, with your platforms through the dynamic contents. So what does it mean? So it means that essentially having the tracker implemented on your page, we can ingest the recommendation frame into your web page, into specific placement that is being mm, that's being selected in the dynamic context settings, and simply show the recommendation frames. But also, of course, you have the full breadth of the API endpoints. Actually, we cover, I think I would say, all of the functionalities that you can spot in the Scenarize platform, also from the API. So And that's up to you actually how would like to integrate. Well, when it comes to the possible placement, I think I elaborated already elaborated mm, much more, I would say. So let's skip it. But if you would like to really, drill down into where actually uh, if you would like to dive into really where you would like you can apply specific recommendation time to which placements. This is a nice breakdown. Actually, this kind of the breakdown you can spot on the also in the Sunrise Hub. So if this is like that you have on the x axis, you have the possible placements. Then you have types, so it can be easily found where to apply specific types if you consider the one. Okay, so this. Okay, so I think I would skip this the rest of the feature descriptions in the presentations, because I would like to also tell you about a little bit more about the use cases. Sorry, I have chosen the wrong. About the use cases, and also give you some sort some sense of the results. I'll give you some sense of the result that can be achieved from or sorry from or due to recommendations. Um, and then we will move swiftly to the platform to, as I mentioned at the beginning, to set up your own very first own uh, recommendation campaign. So of course, as I mentioned, personalization on the main banner of the web page, of the homepage. It can be done either using the personalized recommendations or attribute recommendations. A very nice scenario. Also personalized category recommendations on the homepage. So also this type of the recommendation was driven by attribute recommendations. Full page personalization. This is an example of what I have already presented to you uh, while saying about the section recommendation, and you see this section first related to the Reebok shoes, and then to Puma shoes, and then the list of the Reebok shoes sorted by actually your personalized score. Yeah, so this visual similarities also, um, manageable slots also. Of course, we are not limited to the applications just on directly on the page. We can show the recommendation also on the pop-ups, and in very other this and there are plenty of other, let's say, examples of the use cases that you can also easily read about in our hub, Scenarios hub, where you can find the list of the use cases available, promoted also. There are some I would say recipes how to implement specific types of the scenarios just out of the use case database in Scenarios. Yeah, so let's do it practically right now. Okay, so let's finish this presentation, and we're gonna swiftly move to the Scenarios platform. You probably all already know the design, the of the Scenarios platform. So first thing first, because it might be you can be in a situation that Of course, assuming that already data is there isn't a data influx into the Synerise platform from your side. So we have the data about the customer interaction, so that you've already implemented. This is actually one of the requirements of working recommendation engine to implement the recommendation. Sorry, to implement the Synerise SDK tracker on your web page in order to track interactions, page visits, and any kind of other interaction that can be spot on your page. And also it's worth a bug also to import the historical transaction. However, this is, I would say it's worth a bug. However, this is not the mm, it's not required actually to also import the historical transaction to the Synerise platform. However, yeah, it might have it might be a good idea. Okay, so let's assume that we already have the data. Data influx is constant. But before going anything anywhere, actually with the recommendation engine, we have to have your product feed. We call it item feed because it's not limited only to products. Uh, it can be not about the products. It can be about some different sort of an items. That's why we call it an item feed, not product feed. Um, but in any case, there are few ways to import import item feed to the Synerise. The first is of course to use the to firstly import the data about the items, about the products into the Synerise catalog, or we can use also Google Merchant App. Most of the retailers, most of the e-commerce already have some sort of the feeds. In most of the occasions, in Google Merchant format. So we also allow you to use this method. But okay, so and let's imagine that already the feed is already imported, and let's find some feeds maybe here. Let's say to move forward. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Yeah, so you have the data, you have already imported the feed. You have, by the way, even already tagged your product pages, because we have to know about the product visits, what was the product page, in order to also collect the data about the interest of the customers that can be spot on your web page. This is another requirement I forgot to tell you before. But assuming that you already did this, let's move to enabling the recommendations. So, and assuming that you already have certain permissions to manipulate manipulate and change the settings in AI engine configuration that can be found in the settings. So, okay, there are a few types of the recommendation, of course. Here, once again, and let's assume they would like to enable some new type. Let's try maybe, I think all of the types are already enabled. So let's imagine that this was disabled. So once disabled, you can click here on this toggle to enable. But before doing this, you will see also whether your feed and in general your data already met or not. the minimum and the recommended requirements. Also, these requirements, of course, can be found in our Synerise Hub. But once they are met, you can enable the model, or you are just warned that that you have not met the requirement. But this is up to you to allow to enable the personalized any kind of the recommendation type you would like to. And this is how you do it. But there is another, I would say, important setting that can be also set here, even for the beginners, because from my perspective and from my experience, this is one of the most commonly used setting in out of all of the settings that are available in the recommendation module. So first of all, defaults filter. So these are the global filters that are placed on the top of specific recommendation type, like personalized recommendations or similar. So the most common use case here is to apply exclusion or inclusion of available products. So this is the most commonly. So I would say let's check whether we have this, but we don't have in this case on this field, we don't have this type of the attribute. But let's imagine that here is about this is at least worth considering that whether to apply this filter or not. Clicking apply, of course, you can save the result, save changes actually, and then after a few hours, usually first training of the recommendation model takes at least a few hours, depending, of course, on the volumes of the data you have, and then the width or the breadth of your product catalog. But let's imagine that you have already that your model is already trained, and let's move to creating your very first own recommendation campaign. So yeah. So we are here in the recommendation module. We see the listing. We still see some sort of the options related to filtering. But let's start with adding new recommendation type. So first of all, and this is important remark here, that you've got to decide about the base underlying fit, because you are probably already realized that recommendation types or recommendation models can be enabled or are enabled on the single item fit. So in other words, you can have a few different item fits, and you can train you can train separately the same recommendation models on each of the item fits. This gives you a little vast amount of the opportunities, actually, because you can store different product fits in one workspace, let's say, and handle with the data coming from different maybe stores even, depending, of course, but with one requirement that the product IDs should be the same between the products, between the stores. But this is how it works. So first of all, recommendation models are trained on the level of the a single item feed. So that's why you have to decide firstly about which feed should be selected. We say we are selecting this exemplary fit, and then let's assume that we would like to apply the recommendation, personalized recommendation on the web page, main page, person record on the personalized page, and then we have the second section that we have to decide upon a few things. There are some mysterious item slots. So what are the item slots? Item slots are essentially the parts in which you can break down the entire, let's say, recommendation response, I would say. So let's imagine that at the end of the day, you would like to that recommendation engine returns up to 10 products in general, right? So, but you have an additional requirement that in case of the first slot, you would like to apply specific filters like um, showing just the product from one brand because you have the partnership with the manufacturer. Let's say let's a kind of maybe retail media or something like that deal. And the second is related to different one, and the third is, let's say, the rest of the product. So let's do a scenario like that. So brand A, brand B, mm, brand B, and rest. And these are the free slots, right? And at the beginning, I said that we would like to have mm, uh, at the maximum 10 products. So let's say four, maximum four, or maybe even let's do it like that, minimum four and sorry, this should be two and two. Here should be minimum four and four, just to be sure that we will be returning four products. And then we have some elastic filters, static filters, and distinct filters. I will just give you a sense of the clarity of what was the other differences between these three. Firstly, elastic filters are supplemented with the products with the highest cost if none of the conditions on the filter are met. And at the same time, static filters don't have this requirement. So once recommendation engine with applied filters, by the way, you've got to take into account one thing, that apply filters, because I forgot to tell you before, filters are uh, always applied on the pure vanilla recommendation results. So first of all, recommendation engine gives its best, its I don't know, best in order to deliver to you let's say the ultimate number of the product to which the customer has the highest propensity towards, right? And then on the top of this, we apply the certain types of the filters. The filters can be different, like elastic, static, or distinct, right? And the difference between elastic I already mentioned and the filter and static, but there is also the third one, right? So the not mentioned yet distinct filter. So distinct filter allows you to increase a variety of the items included in the slot. So let's imagine that you would like to increase the variety of the breadth of the in general categories that they are presented to your customer, because you would like to encourage customer to also build their interest into let's say less popular categories. Let's say so that in this case you will have to uh, decide about, let's say, this filter. Let's do it. So show me only one item, say one item with this from the same category, let's say, and this we can also decide about which level of the which category level should be taken into consideration. Okay, we are applying this. It's fine. And let's do one thing more. Let's say already mentioned that we would like to, let's say, filter out the results only to some brand. Oh, let's do it like that. Yeah. Any other context we will do, we should do it the same. So this is like this, and we already have set up 3 slots of the recommendations, taking into consideration your specific needs. Then there are some options, but usually used by more, let's say, advanced users and are related to deciding whether to also personalize the order of the slots. Then there are some other options like boosting. You can promote products from some brand, but this is the probabilistic way of promoting. It's not deterministic, so you don't have you won't be ensured that the product meeting this boosting will be shown for the customers, because it just increased the probability of being returned, but it does not give you 100%, let's say, 100% precision to do this. Okay, so let's skip this. And essentially, I think we are done, right? So all of the recommendation campaign is already prepared. Let's check right now how it works. So let's check that. In the preview, there's a preview section. You can easily preview the results to ensure whether, and you see that there are some 2 slots. Wow, it's 3 slots there because we have set up 3 slots. Let's select different customer. Of course, we are just playing here on the data of virtual customers, so it probably does not resemble, let's say, the real life experience, but just for testing and presenting purposes, it's fine. And of course, last but not least, you can also preview the statistics if you would like to. If some statistics are being collected once we launch the campaign. Let's save it, and that's it. Voila. And I think that's it for today from my side. You have with some my small assistants already created your very first recommendation campaign, and I would say, what I can say more. Good luck with experimenting with the recommendations in our platform. If you do have any kind of the questions, feel free to contact CSI department. If you would like to get more information regarding the Synrise recommendations, also, of course, Synrise Hub is open for you 24/7, I would say. And if you also are having some interest into the direction into which we are heading to, also our roadmap is publicly available. There are some very nice features coming, so stay tuned for this. And for today, that's all for my side. Thank you very much for your attention.